Well, hello everyone. This is Miss Ashlee, a librarian at the Crystal Lake Public Library, and today we're going to do some coding, but unplugged. That means no computers, no tablets, no robots. So, let's talk about some vocabulary before we get started. Now, some of you students may know some of these words, and that's okay if you do. Sometimes reviewing something is good, or looking at it in a different way. Or you can share the knowledge with your family or friends. So it's good to do. All right? Code, a set of rules or written commands. Programmer, someone who builds and maintains computer programs using code. An algorithm is a set of steps to solve a problem or finish a task. Program, an algorithm that has been coded to be run by a machine. Debug, to find and fix errors in a program. Computational thinking, breaking down a problem into simple steps. So now we actually do these things every day, but you might not realize it. To wash your hands, you do the same set of steps each time in the same order or sequence. Have you ever followed a recipe? That's an algorithm. Have you ever planted a seed? Same thing. So you're already further along than you might think. Let's get started. Okay, what we're going to do today is something called directional coding or coding with arrows, and it's a really great place to start a review. You will need scissors, a glue stick, something to write with, the Happy Maps activity, and the Happy Maps game pieces. And these are posted on our calendar under the date March 29th. Now, if you don't have a printer or you don't want to print out this activity, that's okay. Just use a piece of paper and you can draw your own. You don't need any prior coding knowledge or experience, so don't worry about that. Okay, so we are going to do the Happy Maps activity from code.org, which is a really great resource if you want to explore yourself. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to get this cute little creature here, this flurb, to the fruit. The flurb wants to eat fruit. So I am going to do that using either a right arrow, a left arrow, an up arrow, or a down arrow. And each arrow moves one box in the grid, okay? So I just need one command to get this flurb to the apple. And that command is going to be the up arrow, right? And I can test it to do one arrow, and then I get my fruit, right? So if the flurb wants to eat the strawberry, I am going to do one arrow down, right? So if I wanted to take that further and do 3 steps now, the fruit is a little further away from the flurb, I could do that a couple of different ways. So what way do I want to do it? So over here, each column is each step. So step 1, you would circle 1, step 2, circle this one, and step 3. So I think I want to make my flurb go down, then right, and right again to get to the pear. So let's test it. Flurb goes down, flurb goes right, flurb goes right again, and I get my pear. So my program works. Now on the very last one, and you can do all these at home and have some fun with it. I don't want to spoil all the fun for you, but you can cut out your game pieces and you can make your own activity, and you can, maybe your grown-up can challenge you, or you can challenge your grown-up and see how they do. But you're going to want them to cut out the game pieces. And then you're going to want to put your flurb somewhere and then have your flurb either get 1, 2, or all of the pieces of fruit. And then you're going to write the program using the arrows to do that. Okay, now that I've cut my pieces out, I have my flurb, my pieces of fruit, and all my arrows over here. So then I'm going to set up my map or my game, whichever way you want to think about it. Okay, so I am going to figure out the arrows for my flurb, which direction I want it to go. Now, I could have my flurb go get the banana, then the pineapple, then the strawberry, or I could have it go get the strawberry, the pineapple, the banana, or I could just see what my coder comes up with and see what direction they go. So I am going to follow the way that I glued them down. I'm going to get the strawberry, the pineapple, and finish with the banana. So what are the steps that I need to take? So I want to go 1 step right. I want to go another step right, which would bring me to this box. Remember, each arrow takes you between the boxes. And then I want to go 1 arrow up, another arrow up to get the strawberry, and a 3rd arrow up to get the pineapple. Then I want to go 1 arrow left, and then another arrow left to get the banana. So the code that I would use would be right arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, left arrow, left arrow. All right, now we're going to do a larger scale coding activity that you can do at your home. If you have tile floor, you don't even have to make a grid, but if you don't, find somewhere that's okay with your grown-up where you can make a grid. And I've used painter's tape just on the floor, and I've taped out squares that are all roughly the same shape. And I have put 2 objects inside. I have a baby penguin and a mommy penguin, and I'm gonna have the baby penguin get to the mommy penguin. And then I've just made some arrows. So on construction paper that I cut in half, I just did a bunch of arrows, and I can, move them whatever way I want. And now I am going to code little penny penguin, that's the baby penny penguin, to go find mommy penguin, okay? And how would I do that? Well, I think I would like for Penny to go 1 up arrow, to go into the next box. Then I'm going to do another up arrow, and another up arrow, and then a left arrow. Okay, so I tested my program and it works. So if I would write it down, it would be up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, left arrow. And that is the code that I would program into baby penguin to get to mommy penguin. Now, you might notice that there are 4 lines of this code, and 3 of them are the same, right? I have 3 up arrows. So I could simplify my program and make it less lines of code if I took that up arrow and then I put a little box around it and I said do that 3 times and then move left. And that is rewriting my code to make it simpler. Now, for a few lines of code, that's not a big deal. But if you were working with bunches of lines of code, you could see where simplifying would help it be easier to look through the program and make sure it's working like you want.
Coding activities are a great way to learn perseverance, meaning that you stick with something when it gets tough or it doesn't work out the way that you think it should. Now we did more simpler activities today, but as you get in writing more and more lines of code and trying more things and learning about things like conditionals or events or functions, you'll really want to stick with it. And it's a great way to practice problem solving, breaking down steps, recognizing patterns, and working together and communicating on how to do something, and really listening to someone else in your group or your class or your family to hear what ideas they might have, because there might not always be one right answer. There could be several different ways that you could do it. Coding helps us think critically and logically. It helps us problem solve, edit, pay attention to details. So there are lots of great things about coding. Even if you don't think you might ever want to do it as a job, it's still a really fun thing to do. And I hope that you tried it out today and you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.